YouTube, welcome in to a ranking each I forgot what I was gonna say. Each faction in Dune Spice Wars. I'm excited because it's very controversial. I have a lot of opinions that the community disagrees with, and that's okay. This is entirely subjective to my own play style, what I think of the game, what I think is optimal play. So don't yell at me. Don't come at me and say, "Ugh," okay? I don't want to hear it. Be nice to me. This is supposed to be fun. All right. So I think that Carino and Smugglers are both S tier. And I think that in general, Smugglers is equal with Carino. I think that in terms of flexibility and sneakiness and cheekiness and micro that you can do and interesting plays and ability to determine the game early on and rush any of the 3 win conditions, absolutely, Smugglers is there. However, because Carino is just so dang strong in his ability to win on hegemony consistently, using his propaganda offices and double hedge with his triple double red, and also his Wencesia conscript rifleman army, while also being able to fly over to other people's lands whenever he wants and run through them free of charge. Like, it's the sheer intel, the sheer economic ability. You can become such an economic powerhouse with the right quirks. And even if you have terrible quirks and a terrible spawn, I still think you can base drop properly and expand properly to make the most out of it. And if you have to come behind as Carino, that's fine, because you can go double and in most cases triple to what other factions cook when they're normal or beginner players. You know, advanced players can sometimes cook 70, 80, 100 on smugs, but with other factions, you're rarely going to see numbers above 60. Whereas with Carino, almost every game, I'm seeing 80 plus. And, you know, he's just so defensible with his orbital. No, Mesa, I disagree with that. I disagree. Because I personally factor in the greatness of a faction to include playability based on skill level. Because if we sit here and say Smugs is better, but then there's not a single player in the community that can actually play Smugs properly to its full ability, then it's not better. Because it's never in actual reality going to be played properly. And I think that while Carino and you put a Carino in the exact same lobby with them that's the exact same skill level player, and it will be a toss-up of a match. It will be. It will be. It's a coin flip. I think they are equal. Now, with Carino and Smugglers both being at S tier, we have Atreides and Harkonnen as A tier. The reason for this is because I personally think... Actually, I think I'm going to move Hark Now, Hark is still A tier. So the reason that Hark is A tier is because of how powerful his army is and how powerful his ship is. In my professional opinion, Hark, with the right operations and the right micro, can beat any army in the game. Hold on here, in a battle of attrition. Or attrition. And so, if you get your village up to someone else's village, and you start battling it out, you will win every time. Because you are able to make so much manpower, and you just feed off of the war. You love it. Because your army just spams refreshes. And with your ship constantly being able to go in and use its explosive ability and blow up, a third of someone's army with its AoE damage, it makes it very difficult to push Hark, because you typically, even if you micro fairly well, have to sacrifice 3 or 4 units to the decimation ability of that ship. And then Vapors just ruins most factions when they're trying to push. And with your... You know what, Mesa? Now that you're bringing up these points, I think I'm going to have to agree with you. I think we are going to move him down. I think we are going to move Hark down to B tier. For now. We'll see as we continue this. Okay? Now, Atreides is A tier. Mace, I agree with you. But let's take a look-see at Atreides. So with Atreides, you have the Peaceful Annex, which is an incredibly good skill. You have Jessica, which gets free authority upkeep for all of their treaties, which not only is the effect of that absolutely incredible, but then the human element that feeds off of that is incredible. Because you're sitting here with no one wanting to break off their alliance with you. Because if they do, the other 3 people in the game are all getting 10% more knowledge, etc., money, politics, influence, whatever exactly they are. And, with the tech, they're sharing 20% of the research that you're stealing from other people when you research it after them. And so you're so de-incentivized from attacking Atreides. And at the same time, too, he has the ceasefire ability. So if you do attack him, he can cast ceasefire, pause your liberations, ceasefire again, pause your liberation again, and then end up force trucing you after that. So unless you're Fremen or smugglers and don't care to become low in Landsrad standing, it's hard to push into Atreides and actually be powerful in doing so, or actually accomplish a lot. Now, his units aren't the greatest, but the modifiers for his units end up being really, really strong because they become so beefy, so tanky, that not only is it very difficult to push into Atreides due to the ceasefire and the standing, but also because the fights just take so long. You will shoot this one warden that has 8 million health for so long, and just when you kill it, a little support drone scoops it up, saves it, and it's refreshed back in the fight before you know it. And then his Landsrat standing boosts his military unit health. He can ceasefire, so if his army's ever about to die, he can save it. He has his Kraken, which he can have 3 units in a support drone, and then put the support drone in the Kraken. And then his Kraken will hold literally his entire army. Because if you have 3 support drones, that's 9 units. And then you have 9 more unit slots, that's 18 units. Oh, well, you have to count for the support drones themselves. So that's 15. Yeah, and that's not a whole army, but it's close. In like an interesting scenario, right? You can't always pull that off. Now, if you take a look at Atreides' heroes, everyone says Duncan is the best, and I disagree. I think Gurney is better. Another controversial opinion. And his economic prowess, where in the late game, his harvesters gain 3, 4, 5 stacks. No, Kiranova. Nope. All of the top players yell at me when I pick Gurney, and they literally laugh at me. Christ, these ads, dude. Okay. So, we also have to take a look at these other factions here. So, we have Harkonnen. We talked about him. Atreides, Smugglers, Corrino. I am basing these factions, these bottom 3, much lower, and we're going to reorganize them here in a moment, due to the comparison. So if I look at the factions on their own, I think you can find individual elements that make them all S tier in their own way, for single player or for casual play. But in terms of comparing them and ranking them against each other, due to just how powerful Smugglers and Corrino are, you're gonna have to skip a tier or 2 with some of these factions. And so I think that Fremen, played in the right hands, is barely better than Vernius. But I think they're both C tier. And then Ekaz is in fact D tier. And I think this is my ranking. But honestly, when we consider the fact of playability for players, it could go back and forth depending upon skill level, and also the elements of the game that people enjoy. Because if someone's great at macro and like understands the research tree and how to manage the overall empire, maybe Vernius is more their style. But at the same time, if they really enjoy the micro of the engineers and can really lock in with moving the robots where they need to be, maybe a micro player really enjoys Vernius. But at the same time, with Fremen, you might be able to play them better if you're micro due to how you navigate with the worms, or how you navigate with the Fadakin and your donkeys and utilize stealth to your advantage, etc. So I feel as though it's just dependent upon what you personally are better at as a human and player, which faction will be better here. And I think if we're looking at them purely objectively in comparison to the other factions, I think they're equal. I don't think you can say either one's better than the other. Now, in a one-on-one matchup, Vernius crushes Fremen in the late game. But in the early game, Fremen crushes Vernius. So it all balances out, in my opinion. All right, those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. So if I had to label these actual labels, I would say that I would call these I would say the right player can win 3/4 of the games. Or no, we'll say 6/8. No, that's the same thing. What's one more than that in 16ths? 13/16. I think with these factions, you could win 13 out of 16 games. If you were really, really trying. And it was pubs. I think with the Atreides, it goes down drastically. And you could win a little bit more than half. I think with Hark, you're going to win a little less than half. Damn, that's rough. When you put it in a perspective like this, that hurts, man. With Fremen and Vernius, I feel like you'd win 1/4 of your games. Damn. And ECAS, you're gonna win less than 1/4 of your matches. So there you go. And I think that's actually a good way to rank them based on the win ratio. I mean, what do you guys think? Because I'm confident. I don't know. I feel like for the average player, they're never going to win this consistently. Oh, Mesa, no worries. So I think I'm going to change this based upon for like an everyday player. Okay. Oh, God. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. This is for pro play. For pubs, now we're going to rearrange it for pubs. Okay. And we're going to put ECAS and Atreides both up here. I mean, we can actually put ECAS above Atreides for this one. Well, if you look at this, look at the tiers though. Look at my tiers, Mesa. It's 4/16 versus 3/16. So ECAS was worse, but just barely in pro gamer play. Just barely worse. Now for pubs, I would say Harkonnen is gonna be. If you're really sweating, I'd say 14/16 is possible. If you're, I mean, look, the fact of the matter is, at one point, I won 7 matches in a row with smugglers playing public matches. And several of those had Wyvern, John Drama. I think even 1 or 2 had Mesa. Maybe even 1 had Beach Cat. But most of them, 3, 4 of them, were very easy public match wins. And if you're pursuing a Stakhanov meta smuggler play in pubs, it's not hard. It's not. It's just boring. Same thing with Carino. So I truly think you could win 14 out of 16 games. Now, in pubs with ECAS and Atreides, that's also going to go up. But I think it's going to be more like 11. I don't know. I feel like you would win 4 out of 16 matches. I feel like if you played 16 matches of Dune, you could win 4 of them, Mesa. Okay, and then looking at... Oh, I see. And so with Harkonnen... So tell me more. Tell me more about why Vern can't play with truces. Do you want to hop into a Discord voice call and break it down for us silly gooses that aren't Vern experts? If not, no worries. Just let me know. No worries. Now, with your Harkonnen here, I think you could win half your matches with Hark. Or actually slightly less than half. Slightly less than half. Vern can't get bots killing development without truce. So wait, what are the bots with truces? Oh, do you mean because your standing doesn't go up? So no truces, no increase in standing? Oh, yeah, I'm never gonna truce you again, dog. What the heck? Okay, so, I feel as though Vernius is worse than Fremen in pubs. And I feel like Fremen, you can go just barely below Hark, where you would win 6 out of 16. In Vernius, you could win a quarter. Because Vernius, you cannot dictate the lobby as Vernius. So if Carino rushes hedge, you can't stop him on your own unless you go for a really strong base kill. But you're so far behind, even if you stop him, the other people typically are in second and you're in third or fourth. You need the rest of the lobby to affect the leader. It's hard for you to lead the lobby as Vernius. So that's why you're going to win so few. But with Fremen, you can, for the most part, consistently pillage or liberate one player to get that advantage, get your desert, or get a stacking XP army that just demolishes everyone else, and you repeatedly fight them to minimize their army XP. Keep them all on their toes. With Hark, we already kind of talked about it. Yeah. Yeah. And so, like, this is another reason why, like, when people come at me and try to tell me that, like, or they just talk a lot of poop towards me, it makes me a little sad because I don't profess that I'm an incredible player. I in no way think that. I always say this. I have a lot of game knowledge and a great understanding. Mesa, have a wonderful night. We're going to end it here in a second. Don't worry. And besides the knowledge, I don't have that good of a, I would say, technical skill when it comes to actually remembering things and following through with them and employing the strategies that I'm aware of and actually remembering to click on the things that I know I should click on. And so that's like where my major folly is that makes me such a worse player than I could be. It's just like my lack of attention to the game. In the sense, not like that I'm not trying. I don't want to say that. But because I am trying. In the sense of my lack of being able to pay attention to all the things that I need to and manage it all at the same time. That's what I'm trying to say. And so a lot of the matches that I win, it's not because I played better. It's because of what I said in chat. You know, there is a quote in Dune Spice Wars that is as follows. There are many ways leading to victory. Winning a skirmish is often more about appearing unthreatening and manipulating your opponents than being outright stronger. And there's another quote here. Losing a battle is not losing the war. Skirmishes are never lost before you can see the defeat screen. And that is also so true with these S-tier factions. But with Fremen or Vernius, you know, things can go wrong, and then you're truly screwed out of your game, and it's hard to come back. So that's another reason why they're so much lower. And yeah, that's my Dune Spice Wars tier list. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, give me your own thoughts. Join the Dune Discord and maybe chat there. But I love talking about Dune. Let's have an argument that's kind and polite. You know, let's have a nice, polite argument. Okay, guys, I will see you in the comments section. Hopefully, if you're still here, I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.